Welcome, everybody, back to the Realty Report. I am your host, Craig GATTO. Welcome. Hope everybody's having a good Saturday. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the holiday. Today, I'm going to go on a little rant. Not a rant, but as you can see on the ticker, I got a couple of things on my mind. No guests today. Probably should have, in the beginning, introduced myself and put out a trailer before I started doing interviews and things like that. Shout out to NYC Crime Spot. But let me get to my point. I'm not a politician. Don't want to be one. Don't get into the whole politic argument, nor will I. I am somebody, we can disagree on opinions. That's what makes the world go round, right? We don't have to agree on everything. I'm not a yes man, so I don't like to be around people that just yes, yes, yes. I want to be around people that will tell you, nah, listen, you're doing wrong. That's wrong. That's, that makes you a better person. So differences of opinions is fine. So I'm going to say some things today that maybe some of my subscribers will like or not like. That's okay. You have your opinion. And it has to do with this. I'll try to choose my words properly. This mayor, who might be, I honestly thought de Blasio was the worst I had seen at my age. I'd seen a few, obviously. I thought de Blasio was bad, real bad, like the furthest thing from I don't even know the word I'm looking for with him, but he was not strong. I'm not talking about physically strong. I'm talking about just not. I didn't see a leader, and when I heard him speak, I didn't hear a leader. Leader. It's not about your size or stature. It's something you convey. People feel from you. Now, this mayor we have, you'll see his name is on the bottom, is Mayor Adams. You would have thought that due to the fact that he was a police officer, maybe there was a chance we would get a chance to clean this city up. Well, that hasn't happened. Not only has that not happened, this city is becoming, I don't even want to, not becoming, is. I'm a New Yorker my whole life, guys. Been here my whole life, in the 5 boroughs. This city is a dump. Remember in the 70s, whoever was around, maybe some of the group is a little younger, but if anybody's in or around my age or remembers the 70s, or you can look it up. They used to say in the 70s, I'm a Yankee fan. So, but it was a big thing. The Bronx is burning. Bronx is burning. They did a documentary on the Bronx is burning. You can probably find it. And it just talks about how bad it was in the Bronx in the 70s. Well, let me tell you, we might have some good pockets of areas, maybe. There's some good pockets, I'm sure. But what's going on now between the violence, the lack of respect for attacking cops with no regard, anybody for that matter, we're attacking any person for no reason, with no regard for human life, is ridiculous. It's what I want to say YouTube will take it down. So I'm being controlled and speaking, trying to choose my words right, but still let you know that I think this guy's a bum, a clown, and he needs to go. Now, we vote. I think I made it clear. I said, I talked about, politicians, don't want to be one, don't like them, don't trust them. That's the truth. Now, maybe somebody sitting there saying, oh, you didn't like Trump, you didn't like it. I voted for Donald Trump. That was one of the first times I voted. I'm not ashamed to say it. That's how much I despise politicians, because they don't give a shit about you, your family, and your loved ones, right? Your nieces, your nephews, your mom, your dad, your grandchildren, whoever, your neighbors, right? Your cousin, whoever. They don't care. They don't care. They care about themselves. They do it for themselves. So that's my thinking on politicians. Now, I did vote once in my life. Once. I'm not ashamed to say it. I don't care who sits there and says, you're an American. That's a right. Yeah, it's a right. Yeah, it is. And I chose my whole life basically not to do it. And that's fine. You don't have to agree with it. I'll tell you why I voted for Trump. Not that I'm a rah running down the street with my pom-poms for Donald Trump, because he's a politician. But when what he was running against, I felt a strong need to get out and vote. And then the man actually proved that he was a very good president. Again, everybody has their own opinion. But if people believe, and now this is truly going to be about New York City and what's going on in the city. But we'll get a sidebar it. I voted for Donald Trump strictly because I had done some research on who the Clintons really were and are. Now, maybe I'm in trouble now for saying that name. Not good people. Don't take my word for it. I'm sure you won't. Do your research. Put the pom-poms down. Put them down. Like we say, in football, when you're looking at talent and you're trying to evaluate talent, there's a saying: take the helmet, the emblem on the helmet, take that off, take the name over, take the jersey, make believe it's no jersey, and you evaluate without knowing the school, the player's name, the reputation. So do your homework. Do your homework on who they were. So that was the original reason for voting for Trump. Now, did it turn out much better for the American people? I would say yes. I'm sure there's many, as it turned out in the election, many felt no. And look what you got. Look what you have. Look at this. I started off with to get into what is this city become? A dumpster fire. And I'm going to get into it. What is our country becoming? Well, what does our country become? Again, don't have to agree with me. That's fine. If I lose subscribers over this, then so be it. You know, we're not always, you're not going to like every show I do. You know, I'm not always going to, you know, like today I'm talking about this, going on a rant or whatever about things that are happening in current events. I'm not always going to, you know, I do interviews. They're not always going to be interviews in the same genre. I'm not, you know, so, you know, one day you might see me interviewing an athlete. You might see me interviewing a musician, an author, maybe somebody that's had a checkered past. I had a checkered past. Okay. I also worked my whole life. So everybody has, not everybody, you know, but let's just be honest. Let's be truthful. Let's think about things. Let's forget about who we personally dislike, like, and let's view things for performance. And if and because I still hear it from certain people, and they're close to me, family members, a little elderly. Not that that matters, but more of a despise for the last president, Trump. So, in the same regards, that was one of the reasons why I voted for the first time, was for my dislike for who the Clintons are and what they stood for, and the, the things they did. Just please research. I know people that voted for Biden strictly off of the fact that they hated Trump. They didn't like his pompous attitude, his tough guy act, or whatever it was. But guess what? Other countries didn't mess with us. They didn't. He put our citizens first. But I won't keep it all about that. I don't want to get into that, because again, we all have an opinion and we're all entitled to it. And I expect you guys, when I do lives, man, comment. You can email me, cgat5@gmail.com, czzgatto@gmail.com. Shortly, really the report, we're going to have a website up, email with it, obviously. I want to do some good things with this show, but let's get on to what's going on in this city. You know what? Before we get into what's going on in this city, let's finish up with what we call our president. You want listen. Unfortunately, I know a little bit about court system. Excuse me. I understand some certain things about just you know, when you might have a problem or you did something wrong, and now you have to answer for it. You know, whether it's serious or not, it doesn't matter. Wrong is wrong. I don't care if you go to PC Richards, yeah, they're still open, and you're a thief and you steal a TV, or you're stealing radios out of cars. It's wrong. It's a problem. Okay. We got a guy. Forget about. See, I'm really refraining from making the jokes, because you know, you guys see all the videos out there of his bumbling. They put these compilation videos of him just, you know, he's saying ridiculous things, you know, because obviously he's not fit to be the president. And it's a travesty that he's put out front to be the president. I try to refrain from truly, and I'm guilty because I do laugh at times, and I shake my head and I go, I can't believe this. I can't believe what you just said. But I'm also a little bit sensitive, no matter what an evil bastard he is. Do your homework. Again, don't listen. Do your homework. Get back to me on it. I said the word evil. Look them up. Dig deep. I know some of my listeners know how to dig deep. Dig deep. The shit you'll find on this guy. Sickening. Sickening. Children. Sickening. Anyway, I still have in the back of my mind, I don't want to jump on the hysterically laughing at him because of, if it's not an act, which you never know, the government's like Hollywood, you just don't know. But whatever disease, dementia, Alzheimer's, is a brutal disease, and it can touch anybody or their family members. And if anybody's gone through that or is going through that and dealing with it, you might not see them laughing so hard at the things he's doing and saying because they're living it with a loved one. So as much as I can't stomach him, and I know what he's about, like a lot of them, I don't want to get into his mystery, constant falling and saying crazy things, God praise the Queen or whatever. I mean, it's just one thing after another. Insane. So sorry for that little Biden rant. Let's get back to Mr. Mayor that can't be found. Listen, the migrant situation that's going on, particularly right now in New York City, and has been over the last year, but it's really amped up. And I'm not just talking about my neighborhood, my area, Queens. I live in Queens, New York. Maybe some guys that women have podcasts, the channel, whatever. I live in Queens. I'm a New Yorker. I have nothing to hide. That's where I'm from. I lived in the Bronx for 15 years, if you want to know that. So that's my story. I'm an open book. This guy's a joke. You can't believe the numbers. They say it's anywhere from 60,000 to 100,000 migrants over the last year. I can tell you this. Just in my neighborhood in Queens, the northernmost part of Queens, okay? Like basically right under the Whitestone Bridge, in or around that area, okay? What's gone on in the last 3 weeks is nothing short of incredible. First of all, I live in one of the oldest towns in Queens and in New York in general, New York City. So the town was not made for the population that it's already grown to. It's too overcrowded. You can't park. The streets are too narrow. Okay. Now we bring in between two facilities, and I'm not talking about Creedmoor, that's a different area, Queens, right? I'm talking about College Point, Queens. They've turned a high school and a building that was a homeless shelter, that was a 6-story residential building. It was an office building actually, but it was 6 stories, but it looked like a residential building on 127th Street and 23rd. And they made that a homeless shelter for, I think it was strictly women. And that was a couple of years ago. They have now thrown them out, put them who knows where, and have flooded College Point. And I'm sure it's going on in Whitestone, Bayside, Staten Island. I have family, friends in Staten Island. Staten Island is getting it. Everybody's getting it. Manhattan, everybody, Bronx, everybody. So now you have families, people who live in this neighborhood. I can tell you that as a father or grandfather, I don't, I'm a man of faith as well. So no tough guy stuff. I don't. I always pay attention, but I don't really worry about too much as far as things. I just don't. I don't really. I'm not too concerned. I'm always thinking, at any time, it's terrible. Maybe it's some people feel that's a horrible way to think, but you know what? When you have children or grandchildren, maybe I was raised that way. Just always, you never know when some psycho is gonna just get crazy, and how are you gonna react when that happens? And I'm not promoting violence, but too many people are sleeping at the wheel, and I don't want to see anybody sleep at the wheel and get hurt. So College Point has become a disaster. The parks, this one particular park, College Point Boulevard, the village of College Point, at night, the streets are packed. The music is, look, I like music. I bounced for many years in some really good clubs. I mean, with great sound systems. You would think you're in some club in Manhattan with the music, pumping like ridiculous. I also know that a lot of the migrants that come here, we don't know who they are as far as criminality wise, pedophile wise, rapists, whatever. I don't care. Any crime you could think of, any crime you could think of, we should know about, right? If they put a red balloon, when there's a sex offender that moves into your neighborhood, so now we're bringing in migrants that are illegal, right? They're shoving them down your throat, and we don't have the right to know about anybody's background, but yet anybody could go up online and look up my background. I don't have a problem with that. Good. Guess what you're not going to see when you look up my background? You're not going to see the red balloon, but you got to worry about your children. And I'm sure the same with people that are watching the show. Don't have that, thank God. But we have the right to know, you have the right to know who's in your neighborhood, who's taking over your neighborhood. Your neighborhood is no longer your neighborhood. It's not. Park is dangerous. You got 500 people, 600 people with nowhere to go, young. They're in a, think from their point of view, they're in a new, they have no idea where they are. So maybe where they come from, this is what you do. You hang out all night and blast music. I know the city gives them daily vouchers to eat. I don't want to see anybody go hungry. I don't want to see any of these migrants that are good people that want to be safe and had to get out for safety reasons. I pray for those people. I mean that. But there's a lot of bad that's here. A lot. We need to watch our children, our loved ones. Because if it's not affecting your neighborhood now, it will. And the only way is we, even though I say, with the voting, we vote these people in. We vote them in. We got to take them out. How is that going to happen? Everybody's too divided and worried about who's a Republican, who's a liberal, who's a conservative, who's this, who's that. Man, we're one. We're one. We're one. And it's probably not going to stop. Nobody will ever come together. I pray we do, because everybody's getting chased out of their neighborhoods. Might shake your head and say, nah, he's exaggerating, nah, it's not that bad. Yeah? All right. I got friends in Long Island. I got friends in a few places. Like, I'm sure you guys have friends from whatever city, state you're from all over, right? That tell you what's going on where they live. It's not good. It's not good. Look, the amount of people that came through the border, undocumented, that were just walking through over the past 3 years. Yeah, since the clown took over as president, and unmanned the borders and no policing and all of that. It's out of control. So now you have this migrant issue. They get a daily expense account. That's good. They get credit cards so they can purchase e-bikes, the scooters. You see they get a lot of the delivery people use the scooters, the electric scooters. So while they're here, if they can get it, they have money to get the e-bikes, they can get a job. That's great. It's great. Let me ask you a question though. What happens to our kids that are here that can't afford an e-bike, that are homeless already? We have our own homeless situation that's an atrocity and disgusting. Not everybody wants to be homeless. That's a fact. One day I'll get into, you guys are smart, so you understand. Things happen. Tragedies can happen. You could have everything one day and be wiped out and gone the next. So they get these e-bikes, right? They rip up and down the street. Maybe they get a job. But what are we doing with our homeless? Where are our young youth going to get a job when we have some people from countries, quite frankly, that are slave labor? You know what I mean? They're underpaid brutally, disgustingly. So do you think business owners here wouldn't possibly think, I could hire this guy and give him $6 an hour? That's a lot of money to him. But the young American kid that needs that same job, by the way, that can't buy the e-bike because he doesn't get that credit card, right? And he's an American citizen. He's not going to pay him minimum wage. So you see, it's a big issue. It's a big issue. It's a safety concern. It's a neighborhood concern as far as there's nowhere to go. You can't walk down the street. It's craziness. Every night's like a block party. Every night's a San Gennaro feast, if you know what I mean. It goes for blocks. The parks are packed. If you're a woman of any age, I would say that you would be very hesitant to walk through the park at night, just based on that alone. I'll tell you the truth. No doubt about it. Depending on, and I don't hang out. But when I could be out at night. Maybe I'll walk rather than cut through the park to go where I want to go. Maybe I'll walk to the corner and walk around just to avoid a situation. Too old for that, right? And what does our mayor say? Clown Show Adams. He's the furthest thing from a cop. How this guy was a cop, I have no idea. So all my cop friends and buddies out there, please get to me and tell me. And I grew up with a ton of guys that became cops. Okay? Get to me, reach to me, guys. How was this clown a freaking cop? And how did he get the respect of the force? How did he get the endorsement to vote this guy in? This guy's nowhere to be found. Not only that, not only is he giving the money, well, that's government. Hotels, all it is, flood your neighborhoods. Now he wants to tell homeowners, we'll give you $100 a week if you take one migrant and put them in your home. So you could make a whopping $400 a month to take somebody that you have no clue of their background, him or her. I don't care what it is, him or her. And he wants you to put them in your home around your family. Maybe you have young children. Maybe you don't. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Think about that. This guy's an educated man. Who would recommend that? Just again, guys. Look, you don't have to agree with what I said here today, but comment, please comment me, Craig. You're wrong. You're wrong. No, this is great. I'll accept your opinion. I'm not. Yeah, I mean, doesn't mean I'm going to agree with you, but I have to accept how everybody feels differently. I will say this. I'm sure there's some. I've said this to my wife and to some others. There's some of these good. I'm sure there's more than. I don't know what the numbers are, but there's some of these migrants that are good people. They're family. They're here. I saw one gentleman walking down the boulevard the other day, and he's telling his wife, and they had 4 kids, and he's telling his wife in Spanish. I understand a little Spanish. That we got to get out of here because this is crazy. And he was talking about that it was 10:30 at night. Music coming from every direction was like at the highest decibel you could ever. I'm telling you, incredible. I mean, you know what? The music was loud, like it would be like at like an EDM festival in Europe. You know what I mean? Like maybe Swedish House Mafia. You know, when they're drawing 200,000 people in some stadium, they're out of control. And he's telling his wife, "We got to get out of here. This is crazy." And they had little ones, very little ones, and it killed me to hear that. It bothers me. So, and for those people, I pray they get a safe place to stay and help if need be. But we can't ignore the bad ones that are coming in, and there's a lot. We get to know, again, as American citizens, or anybody that lives in this country that's been here for a while, census report, this, that, the other thing, you could just look up somebody's name. It's the easiest thing to do. I was a bounty hunter for a period of time as well in my life. I've done a lot of different things. You know, there's many ways to look things up. You know, just like some of my friends that have these crime channels, they have their ways of looking things up. Well, as bounty hunters, we had ways of doing it too. But there's no recourse here. How do you look somebody up that you don't even know if that's their name, even if you found it, even if somebody said, yeah, his name is so-and-so. Okay. You believe that? What's a social security number? Well, I mean, you can't, there's no background check. You don't know if he has the red balloon next to him. You don't know if he's a mass murderer. You don't know if he's mentally, challenged and needs to be somewhere else and not walking the streets. You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. So I pray you guys understand where I'm coming from. It's nothing. It's absolutely no hate message. It's just I speak the truth. My opinions might be strong, but I'm passionate. Right, wrong, or indifferent. I need to be who I am. I can't be something just to get a subscriber, right? I mean, for whoever does want to listen to me or listen to whatever I'm doing, I love it. I appreciate it so much. It's therapy for me. I love it. But what good would I be? Why you wouldn't want to listen to me, for those that do, if I'm a fake and a fraud and a phony? And one day I'll get into that. I try to stay out of certain genres. For a lot of reasons. A lot of things out there I don't agree with. Clowns. Characters. Hey, somebody might say I'm a character. They won't tell you I'm a clown. But I hope you guys enjoyed what little I had to say today. Sorry I didn't have an interview, but there's going to be times where there's things I want to talk about, just like I would have done on Spotify, and that was strictly audio. Thank yous if you like it. I always said I would never say this. Please like and subscribe because it does help. I enjoy the fact, I hear, some people say, you only have 65 subscribers. Guess what? That's amazing to me. I mean, someday you never know. Who knows? I might wake up tomorrow and have one. That's okay, because I'll speak to that one person. Because maybe that one person needs to hear what I want to say. I have to say. So, in closing, I'm just going to say this. This podcast is going to be about a lot of things. Not going to be in a box. You know, I know I've done a couple of things that might have teetered on the mob genre. That's not the space I'm looking to stay in or go in. That being said, if something's interesting to me, like I did an interview with Larry Roller, all respect to Larry, love him. I felt like I was talking to, honestly, family. Like I had a lot of respect for him. But I wanna try to be not like in a box. You know what I mean? I want to try to give you some things, um, not just the same thing. So, thank you for whoever does listen, whether I get 5 views, 10 views, 17,000 views. That won't happen. But thank you. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Keep your eyes open. Take care of your families. And thank God that you lived another day. Okay? You guys take care of yourself. Be well. Thank you for tuning in. Shout out to all my friends that have helped me in this YouTube world. Be well, be safe. We'll talk soon. Planning on doing something for 9/11, but I'll keep you posted on that. Trying to put something together to remember that event. I worked down there for a long time as a construction worker, but we'll get to that when we get to it. You guys be well. Once again, Adams is a clown. De Blasio was just a bigger clown. Yeah, he was. He was like 6'9", a 6'9" punk. This guy's nowhere to be found. But just remember, for $100, you could have somebody live in your house with you. Watch your neighborhood. Don't be afraid to go to your councilman. They don't answer the phone, kick the door down. Make them talk to you. I don't mean kick the door down. You know what I'm saying. Be well. God bless. Have a great weekend. Awesome.